doing the Real Talk book tag because I need a video and I have no content. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing the Real Talk book tag, even though I don't ever get tagged in things because we're a really small channel. But thank you for being here and listening to my TED Talk. So this is going to be the only video that I upload this week because I just got Final Cut Pro and I'm still trying to figure that out, and I do have like a dedicated review to Saw Kill Girls coming, but I wanted to do that in Final Cut Pro, and it's a thing. It's very different from the one, Hit Film Express, that I was using before, so I'm having trouble. So this is the only thing that's going to be up this week. Also, this is the second day that technically I've been without power. I'm doing this on my laptop, and I'm on a generator, and you can see the wonderful natural light that I'm using. So yeah, sorry for the weird break in things. I mean, I do love to do tags, but I was trying to do less of them because for me, it's filler content. But I really like this tag. I saw Jaded Reader post this, I think it was yesterday, today, something like that. And I was like, ooh, I like this. It is discussion-y things, and I do like to do discussion-y things. This was originally a Alyssa, Books with Alyssa J. Yes, as ever, I have notes. So, as I'm a relatively new channel, a couple of these are really just going to be very early sort of things. I'd actually think I'd like to do this tag again, maybe in a few years when I'm a bit bigger and I have a little bit more experience, and see how that goes. But for now, these are my opinions, these are my thoughts. Please leave your thoughts, comments, and opinions down below because I'd love to hear them and have an actual discussion about this and not just speak into the void. So, question number 1 is, what's something that no one told you before you started your channel? I think that the only thing that I really didn't get before starting my channel is just how much you need to be involved in the community. I mean, if you are doing it for yourself and you just want to do these for fun, that's definitely a way to do it. But if you want to grow, if you want to, really make these connections, you have to put in the effort. And people don't just come to you and say, hey, and we'd like to have, I'd like to talk to you about books and ever. You have to actually go out into the world and do things. And it's also not just on Booktube. Most of the people that I've interacted with has been on Twitter. And that's not to say that, the crossover of social media platforms is a bad thing, but no one really told me that so much. It was more just I was trying to use Twitter as a platform for my authorship and try to, meet writers that way. And it ended up being, for me, a bigger thing to do with Booktube rather than with writing. A lot of people always talk about, you really need to engage in the community, you need to make thoughtful comments and whatnot, but it seemed to really be more off platform than on YouTube, on platform for me anyway. Number 2, what is your opinion on typical Booktube videos, TBR, wrap-ups, hauls, and such and so forth? I like them. I know that a lot of people have differing opinions about how often you should do a TBR or a haul or how whatever. I like them. A lot of people have said this is a staple of our community, but beyond that, I also think that this is kind of what we're here for. We're here to talk about books, and we're here to talk about our excitement about books and how we felt about reading them, when we do a wrap up. And for us, I feel like having that sort of excitement generated around reading is something that, especially for me, is invaluable because I grew up with this sort of mentality that reading was something that you had to do. It was for school, or, I think I've told you before, my dad shoved Moby Dick in my hands when I was 9 or 10 years old. And when you're in 4th grade, you don't need Moby Dick. But he was very adamant. He's like, I read it when I was that age, so you need to read it because that is what you need to be at, instead of finding something that I enjoy and then encouraging reading that way. But you see people who are so excited over books that I would never be excited over. I've said time and again, like, romance is really not my genre, but I appreciate it when someone's like, oh my God, like, I think people were talking about the kiss quotient, and they're really excited about it, and it really made me want to read the kiss quotient because it was something outside my realm and I would never have thought to pick it up. Whether or not I'll actually like it is a different thing, but even to have that sort of emotion and that love of something and that passion it's really not something that you see, I think, outside of Booktube, Book Twitter. Even Bookstagram, it's like, oh, it's very pretty, it's there for the aesthetics, but you don't really feel the love and the passion so much. If that makes any sort of sense, I'm not sure, but it's out in the world now. Number 3, what is an assumption that you had about Booktube before you joined? Was it proven correct or no? So I jumped into Booktube like pretty quick. Like, as soon as I found out that it was a thing and I watched a couple of people, I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. So bam, I did a hard switch from gamer Circus Mouse to Booktube, and yeah, I didn't really have a whole lot of assumptions going into it. If I had to pick something, I think it would be that, like, keeping a schedule was going to be a lot harder than it was, because I was like, well, if you do a wrap up, which I plan to do, and if you do a haul / TBR, which I plan to do, then, and if you only do a video once a week, then you have 2 other slots that, you need to fill time. And I didn't know what I was going to say, if I was going to have anything to say, if anyone was going to listen to me. So I thought that it was going to be a lot harder to fill time than it was. I was proven wrong on that assumption. I thought, I was like, oh, once a week is going to be so difficult. Honestly, it ended up being like, I'm now posting 2 videos a week, and that seems to be pretty good. I usually record a 3rd video that I never post because I'm like, wow, that last one was really bad. I shouldn't have just recorded all of them at once. But, like, I technically, if I had a little bit more or if I took a little bit more time for myself, rather, I could have a 3rd video up every week, and I still feel like I would have, enough content generally to keep going. It's hot. It's really hot today. So number 4, what's something you've done that has actually helped you grow your channel? And I think I said this earlier, but it's engaging in videos and engaging outside of the platform. I'm very shy on the internet. Really don't like to engage in conflict. I don't like to sass people. If I ever really get comfortable with you enough to sass you, like, we've hit a milestone in the friendship, and I don't know how to do that on the internet. I have grown up on the internet. That's not like I'm an old fart or something, even though I'm kind of an old fart. The connections that I've learned how to make are something that has really grown my channel. I care about, y'all really more than I thought that I would. I've been able to engage in conversations in more ways than I thought I would. And I never feel like I'm being, put down or ousted or anything. So it's really helped me not just like grow as a channel, because really I'm still rather kind of small, but like be more comfortable with people on the internet and find my feet that way. I'm still relatively new to Twitter, because when Twitter came out, everyone was on Facebook, and I'm like, why would I limit myself to 140 characters at the time, when I could just like write paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs on Facebook, and I had no friends on Twitter. So it didn't seem like a viable option at that point, but everyone moved to Twitter, and Facebook is dead. So I'm trying to evolve. Book Twitter has been very accommodating toward that. And in turn, because people are so loving and accepting and are very excited for new things, new people, my channel has grown actually significantly. There's this sort of built-in thing within our community that's not with everyone, or not all other communities. that, you know, everyone wants to see everyone else succeed. So you have threads that are like, hey, are you a small channel? Do you have less than, you know, 500 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers? Comment down below, leave me a link. I want to check you out. I want to see what you're about. And that's amazing. Like, you do a little bit of engagement, you get a little bit in return. You do a lot of engagement, you get a lot in return. I unfortunately don't have the energy to really like grow my channel in the way that perhaps I want to. But even, like I said, I've put in a little bit of effort and I've gotten a little bit back in return, and that's something that I'm very grateful for, and that I feel most people have talked about on this book tag. But it is true. This community wants to see you succeed. They want to engage with you. So if you are engaging with them in comments on other videos, on other platforms, you're going to see eventually that sort of snowballing effect of more people are seeing you, so more people want to check you out, and more people are looking at your content and sharing and tagging you and, you know, trying to be your friend. TLDR, engage and you shall succeed. Number 5, what is a common mistake you see new booktubers making, or ones that you made? As I am a relatively new booktuber, I don't feel like I'm in a really great position to comment on other people, but truly, I feel like when you're looking at large booktubers and how they edit versus new booktubers and how they edit, there's a difference in confidence, obviously, because you're more comfortable speaking in front of a camera and saying what you want to say, and you've probably, as a bigger booktuber, have thought about your content a little bit more than other people who are just sort of starting out and finding out who they are and what their branding is. Also, there's a speed in which people talk or don't talk that is very apparent when someone is relatively new. People who have been around Booktube for a lot longer, they speak a little bit faster, and people who haven't are very slow and deliberate and trying to get all of their words across very cleanly. And that's not a bad thing, but it does strike me as you are newer. And I'm actually very guilty about that myself. I'm trying to fix that, but my brain doesn't catch up because I'm trying to be entertaining and I don't know how to do that yet. So there we are. The third thing that I notice about newer booktubers is the editing process, just generally. It doesn't have to be like, oh, there's action shots and cuts and all these transitions and stuff like that, but just generally trying to skip over pauses or skipping over ums. I don't skip over all of my ums anymore. I used to, but just when there's a sort of a lull in what you're thinking or how you're trying to get across, some people won't edit that at all, and that to me strikes as someone who is rather new. And I'm guilty of this as well. I still don't quite know how to edit. I'm trying to do Final Cut Pro to perhaps make editing a little bit nicer, / I can zhuzh the effects so I don't look like a total newbie. The visual effects might cover up all of my editorial sins generally, but we'll see. Number 6, what are your thoughts on working with publishers and sponsorships? I sort of understand why this is a question and why people can get kind of upset when someone works with a publisher. Personally, I don't care. Like, a lot of times when people go into YouTube, they're hoping, maybe not expecting, but they're definitely hoping that someday they'll be able to make money off of it. I am one of those people because I have no income, and book sales are going to be rather skeptical once I actually get published. But that being that, I don't think it matters, you know, if someone has been sponsored or anything, as long as, you know, you're transparent about the fact that, you know, I got paid to do this review, or, you know, by the way, this is the sponsor for this video. I would like to see transparency, and there's always the question of whether or not the review that you're watching is honest. You know, when people are just coming to you for the first time and they're seeing this sponsored review, or, you know, this partnership review, they don't know who you are necessarily, and they may not trust you. That's not to say that, you know, everyone is that way. Outside of Booktube, people get sponsored all the time, and there's this question of whether or not the review that you're getting is legitimate. For me, I always try to watch people's other content, other non-sponsored content, and see if I can trust them, if they're going to be honest. Then I hope and I trust that when they do a sponsorship video, that they are also being honest, that they haven't taken the money as an incentive to make something look better than it is. And a lot of times you can tell when people are lying when you've watched their other content. No, you just want to stay on the PR list. You want to stay in someone's good graces so that you keep on doing what you're doing. And so I won't necessarily trust that. Even if someone's like, oh my God, this is the best book ever, please go buy this, blah, 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 it was great, the characterizations, yada, yada, yada. There's going to be a ton of other people who have also read that story or that novel or whatever, and if they have like a grossly different opinion, then we can go back to the sponsored person and be like, hey, so why are you saying this when this, and this are being said by literally everybody else? It might just be an opinion thing, and that's that. But then you can sort of make the judgment for yourself and be wary about, you know, how much you trust that person to give you an honest review. I don't know. I don't feel like it makes that much of a difference. For the people who get mad at sponsorships for like selling out or whatever, I think that's ridiculous, and you should perhaps check yourself before you go and start criticizing other people's decisions for trying to make money off of something that they love. And the last question, real question, is do you think Booktube is dying? Again, I haven't been around long enough for me to make a great assessment, but no, I don't think that Booktube is dying at all. If anything, it seems like Booktube is helping to keep reading alive, with so many people, again, generating sort of excitement around books, and people sort of stumbling in on, you know, this little corner of the world. We're supporting authors, and we're generating, you know, essentially free PR for them. But I think that over the last like 5 years, more people are buying physical books, in no small part to the fact that we have these people with beautiful bookshelves. Mine is not so beautiful. It's in the back, and actually it's not really filled with books. So I think you can see there's a Funko Pop right about there. And that one's not even mine, that's my husband's. But we see these beautiful books. We generate excitement around the collector's editions, and then more people want to read. And in turn, they try to find people who also love to read. So I think that we're growing. It's not like, you know, expansive growth or anything, but as more people want to read, and the more excitement we generate around reading and the love of reading and finding what works for you specifically, each individual person, the more we encourage that, I think the better and the bigger that we are going to grow. So I still don't know enough people to actually tag, so if you want to do this tag, please feel free. I obviously was not tagged because nobody knows who I am. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below if you haven't already for better content than this. And don't forget to share this video or any of the videos that I have, because still doing that giveaway. We're about 32 people away from actually getting the giveaway underway. So if you are already subscribed, you are already entered, but share so that we can actually get this done. Yeah, I guess that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.